So we're going to basically come into reclined Supta so our toes of our feet are going to be together, our knees are going to be open. If you want to increase it, you can set your hips on a block. So literally just sit up on a block, bring the soles of your feet together, knees are coming out nice and wide, and then carefully lowering yourself down onto the mat. So you just need to kind of adjust your block slightly, just so it's kind of coming onto your the very bottom of your back, just so you can start to feel your pelvis kind of tilt slightly, so you'll feel your hip bones start to kind of shine up towards the ceiling a bit more. And if you do come into this slight variation and it is too much, you can just take the block away and just come into your normal Supta pose. So bring the soles of our feet together. We're just going to actually do a nice and nourishing start to practice. So just one hand to your tummy, one hand to your chest. And just together, taking a deep inhale, filling our lungs all the way up to the top, holding it at the top. And then really exhaling out a sigh out our mouth. Just getting rid of anything that you need to, so you can be present for tonight's practice. So if that means you need to take a couple of deep sighs, you go on ahead and do that. Just starting to bring a little bit more awareness into our breath. So with our hands on our tummy and our chest, just feeling those hands rise up and fall down. And if you feel maybe that the hands on your tummy is rising a little bit more, then try and focus on sending the hands on your chest up and down that bit more. Knowing that your breath is what's going to give you your energy and what's going to move you through your practice this evening. So giving it a little bit of attention at the start of class. Giving it some acknowledgement. And if you wish for class tonight, if there's anything that you wish to set an intention onto, you can. Is your intention this evening just to move how your body wants to move? Is it to find a release somewhere? Is it to connect with your inner body a bit more? And sometimes yoga teachers set the intention for classes. Sometimes it's nice for students to set their own intention so that the practice really serves them for what they need. If your intention is literally just to do 45 minutes of yoga and then roll up your mat and go have your dinner, that's absolutely fine. At the end of class, you know you will have achieved it. Just taking 2 more meaningful breaths here. And then if you want to bring your hands to the outside of your knees just to close your knees back together, and then just pushing your feet into the mat if you have the block, just lifting your hips slightly just so you could move that block over to the side, but keeping it still within reach, and then placing your hips back down onto the mat. And I'm just going to bring our knees in towards our chest, holding onto our knees. I'm just going to draw some circles with our knees, letting our knees come into our chest, out to the right, out in front, out to the left, back in, and then changing direction. Then placing your left foot onto the mat, you're going to cross your right foot so your ankle is just above your left knee, so coming into a figure 4 shape. So just feeling out this pose here, so letting that right knee drop forward. And if you want to increase the intensity, just picking up your left foot, then weaving your hands to grab behind your left thigh or in front of your left shin. And keep grounding those shoulders and the back of your spine onto the mat. There's going to be slight engagement here as we draw that left knee in, as we send that right knee away. And we want to be active with our feet here, so Bending those toes so that they're coming towards our shins, splaying our toes out, giving a little bit of attention to the soles of our feet. And starting to work into that hip. Taking one more breath here. Then exhaling, dropping that left foot down. And then just moving your hips an inch over to the right so you can start to come into a supine twist. So keeping that fold in your legs and letting your sole of your right foot come down to the earth. So your right knee is going to be up towards the ceiling. Then just opening our hands, we're going to open them up overhead. And then if you want to bring in your gaze wherever feels natural for you, so if it's neutral or over your right shoulder. Still keeping that right knee up towards the sky, actively pushing it slightly towards the front of your mat. Creating space in our right side body and our lower back. Taking one more breath here. Then on your exhale, trying to engage through the core to bring the feet back through to center. Hips back to neutral, and then just swapping it up. So right foot on the ground, left ankle just above the knee. Feeling that pose out at the start, see how your body's feeling this evening, and then going into a little bit deeper if you wish. Keeping those toes nice and active, shoulders grounding down into the mat. Remembering to keep that breath and conscious awareness with you. Being active with that right knee to your chest as your left knee opens to the front. Finding that stretch. And then your next exhale, just bringing your right foot back down towards the mat, hip slightly to the left sole, your foot drops down as your knee shines up towards the ceiling. Again, hands are just going to come up overhead, so literally just drape them up overhead as if you're just lying down sunbathing. And then gaze just wherever you wish, keeping active with that left knee in its position. And your next inhale again, trying to engage that deep core to bring our knees back through the center. Uncrossing our legs, bring our knees back into our chest. We're just going to do some more of those little circles just to ease off our lower back and just changing direction in your own time. And then just taking a couple of rocks and rolls on your spine, so feeling it from your tailbone all the way up your shoulder blades. Taking about 3 and coming through just to sit with your feet out in front. And we're going to come into Navasana or boat pose. So we're going to keep our chest nice and open. So roll your shoulder blades down your chest. Tuck your fingers just behind your knees. Engage your tummy muscles. Lift up through your chest and then pick your feet up. Holding on to the backs of our knees here. Pulling our tummy button in towards our spine. Making sure we're not dropping into our low back. If you want to reach your hands in front, you can, while keeping that chest nice and open. Staying for 2 more breaths here. And then exhale, just curling up into a little ball. So we're going to come into Navasana again, and I'm going to introduce some toe taps. Now if you come into Navasana and it is too much, you want to keep a hold of the back of your knees, you can, or even come into this kind of half boat position so your feet are still on the floor, but still think about you opening your chest up, so rolling those shoulder blades down, pulling your tummy in towards your spine. So if you want to come with me, we'll do some toe taps, start to work that lovely core. So pick your legs up, and I want you to really squeeze those knees in towards each other, sorry. Reaching our hands forward, keeping our chest nice and open. We're just gonna let our right foot come down, touch the mat, and come back up. Left foot down, come back up. Inhale down, exhale back up. Keep with me 2 more times on each side. Keep that chest nice and open. 1 more time, feeling those little shakes. Then exhale, coming into a little bowl. So tapping into that deep core that keeps us nice and stable and balanced. Then just bringing our soles of our feet back into that Supta Baddha Konasana shape again. This time we're going to come into more of a forward fold. We're going to make it quite restorative though. So think about kind of your spine just gradually curling in itself, and then just bringing your hands down by your feet. Think about sending that tailbone down towards the earth as you droop your head forward. So we're stretching all along the spine. So not too much focus on how close you can bring your chest down to your feet. More about that, finding that nice arch in your back. And if you are feeling this in your hips, just making sure that breath is serving you. And then inhale to slowly uncurl our spine. Come back up to the center. And then we're just going to do a quick twist. So bringing your right hand behind you, left hand just onto your right leg there. Broadening the space between your collarbones, still holding your tummy in towards your spine. Then exhaling through the center, inhaling, just twisting out towards the left hand side. Then inhaling through the center, and then just rolling over our ankles, just coming onto your all fours here. So that deep core activation you had in your Navasana, when you're in your all fours, I want you to think about that feeling and pulling your tummy button up towards your spine. So it's not a passive shape, it still should be active, so really pushing into our hands here. We're going to come into thread the needle. So on an inhale, you're going to sweep that right arm up towards the right hand side. Then exhale, weaving it behind our left wrist. So our right arm's coming flat on the earth. Left hand just coming slightly in front. The side of our right head comes down to the mat. Twisting into our upper back while getting a nice stretch along our low back as we send our right hip away from our right shoulder. And if you want to increase the opening in the chest here, you can pick up your left hand and just bring it across the small of your back. So it's almost like opposites. While we stretch the back of our right shoulder, we're opening the front of our left. One more breath here. Then exhale. If you had the bind, bringing your left hand back down. Pushing your hands up, coming back into that tabletop. Then sweeping that left arm up on an inhale, and exhale, weaving it behind that right hand, left temple, coming back down. This time sending that left hip away from the left shoulder. And then if you want to come into the bind, just bringing your right hand across the small of your back. Your palm of your hand is going to face away from your body. And if you have got the bind, just actively sending that right shoulder back. Then exhale to come out of the bind if you came into it, and then coming back up onto your all fours, and then just sneaking your way down, just coming to lie flat on the mat, bringing both hands out, directly out to the side. If you don't have the space for this, you're just going to bring your hands into cactus shape and bring your elbows slightly higher than your shoulders. So we're going to place our right hand flat onto the mat, just like we were going into chaturanga, and then using our right hand, we're going to roll over onto our left shoulder, stacking our hips one on top of the other. So finding a nice stretch in our left pec here. And with our right hand on the ground, I just want you to think about slightly pushing that right hand away. And as you do that, you just start to activate through the chest, and you'll feel a deeper stretch all along that left shoulder, maybe down into your bicep. And still being active through the core here, so making sure that our core is engaged so we're not falling out of this. And then exhaling really slowly, coming back through to lie on our front. And then this time, sending our right arm out to the side or into that cactus shape variation. Hands coming as if we were coming into our cobra pose, and then pushing our left hand down, rolling. So we're stacking our hips on top of one another, and then just actively pushing that left hand into the earth. And if you're having any issues feeling this, I just suggest that you maybe walk that right hand up or down a wee bit. You might have lovely open shoulders, so to find the deep stretch, you just need to make a slight adjustment. And exhale, rolling on to your tummy. And then we're going to come up to our forearms here. So our elbows should be directly under our shoulders. We should be just able to touch our elbows, hands in a number 11, so coming into Sphinx pose. So if you have any tightness in your low back, you can just bring your feet slightly wider. Rolling those shoulder blades down your back. So if you could put your shoulder blades into your back pockets, opening through the chest, not flinging the head back, gaze nice and neutral. You should feel quite powerful in this pose as you're opening through the chest. Sending those collarbones away from your face. Then keeping your left hand where it is, you're just going to bend your right foot, so not your bum's coming towards your foot, your foot's coming in towards your bum. And then if you think you have it in you can reach your right hand back to grab hold of that foot. So we're grabbing the inside edge, or big toe edge, of that right foot. And if you don't have it, just being active with reaching behind you as your foot comes close towards you. And if you do have the bind, just kicking that foot into your hand so you open through the shoulder, while also getting some engagement through our quads. Doing some lovely chest opening. Keep sending that right knee down towards the earth, so just lifting off the earth, try to send it back down. Then exhale if you have the bind, really slowly letting go, not letting it ping off. And then just bring both hands flat onto the earth and place your forehead down. Just rock your hips from side to side, just give your lower back a little bit of a rest. And then coming back up into our Sphinx shape, so elbows under shoulders. And it might be more comfortable for you to maybe angle your arms slightly. You might find a bigger opening in the chest here. Everybody's body is different. So finding that shape. Then curling our left heel in towards our bum. And then reaching, if you can, your left hand back, grabbing the big toe edge of that left foot. And then being active here. So as much as you're pulling your foot in, you're kicking your foot away. Keeping that left knee nice and grounded. And still pushing the floor away with that right arm. And your next exhale, slowly releasing that. And then again, just stacking your hands on top of one another, head down, shimmying out your hips. And then just making your way back up to our tabletop pose here. So finding that activation in your tabletop. My yoga teacher says if you ever need to know where your core is, just go ha and you'll feel it catch. So if you want to even come into tabletop, say ha, and you'll feel your core start to engage. You probably sound a bit mental, but it works. We're going to pick up our right foot directly behind us, and then we're going to cross our right foot over to the left hand side, so our legs are crossed. And then we're just going to turn to look at our right foot, and as we do that, keeping our right shoulder exactly where it is, not letting it come forward, turning to look as we start to open out through our right side body here. So finding a really nice stretch. So being really active with that right arm, keeping our shoulder nice and stable, biceps are facing the front of that. So your left waist should be nice and crinkled up and your right waist is nice and long. Then exhale, bringing that right knee back underneath your hip, this time picking up our left foot. Our left foot's going to cross over, so our toes are dipping over to the right hand side, really strong to that left shoulder. As we turn around to be look at our beautiful left toes. Mine aren't very beautiful right now because they have about a centimetre of growth under shellac. Damn you, lockdown. Sending our breath into our left lung so we can really feel our ribs expand out. And then exhale, coming back through the centre. And then just picking up your knees and walking forward, coming into a forward fold. Feet directly onto your hips. You can have a deep bend in your knees here. Maybe grabbing opposite elbow and swaying from side to side. Placing your hands back down to the ground. Inhale to halfway lift, shoulders in line with ears, rolling your shoulders down your back. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to reach the arms up to standing. Then exhale, sending your hips behind you and down, coming into a chair pose. Just keeping really active in this posture. Just think about everything hugging in towards the midline. Sending your weight into your heels. Imagining you had a block in between your knees so you can magnetize it together. Then exhale to forward fold. Now we're going to take our peace fingers, which are literally as if you were doing a peace sign, but you're going to bring your fingers together. We're going to loop them round our big toes. So your thumb will be on the outside. So you've got a good solid grip of your feet here. We're going to inhale to try and straighten those arms. Then exhale, we're just going to bend forward. You're going to have a deep bend in your knee here. I want you to think about pulling your chest in towards your thighs. So we're getting a nice opening across the shoulder blades here. One more breath. Then exhaling, releasing your peace fingers. Then pushing into the ground. Inhale to reach your hands all the way up to the sky. Then exhale, hands through the heart center. We're going to come into a sideward stretch here. So on an inhale, you're going to reach your hands up. With your left hand, you're going to grab hold of your right wrist. Reaching out through that right side body, and then on an exhale, we're going to lean over to the left hand side, grounding that right foot in. So think about stamping that right foot far into the earth as that right hand reaches up towards the sky. Then inhale to come through the center, and then just swapping it up. So grabbing your left wrist with your right hand. Find that length through your side body first on an inhale, then on an exhale, stretching over to the right hand side. So same activation with your foot stamping down, your hands reaching up. Pulling your belly button towards your spine. Then inhaling to come through the center. Then this time we're going to come into a back bend. So we're going to come into cactus arms for our back bend, just coming down so you guys can see me. So you're going to bring your elbows so that they're in line with your shoulders, keeping your belly button pulled in towards the spine. Inhale to lift your chest up, then exhale, just the top of your back starts to curl back into your back bend, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Then exhale to forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to reach your hands up. And exhale, we're going to come back into that chair pose. So sinking your hips back and down. Active through your legs. Bringing your hands through to heart center. Taking a big breath here, finding nice long spines. Then exhale, we're going to twist out to the right hand side. And if you can, hooking that left elbow to your right knee, making sure that left knee isn't creeping forward. Your knee should be in a nice straight line here. Then exhale to forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Then exhale, stepping your right foot back, lowering your knee, coming into your low lunge on an inhale. So finding this posture, squaring off those hips, reaching out from your waist, making sure those ribs are nice and tucked in. Then bringing both arms out in front. You're going to bring your left arm underneath your right arm, so they're coming into a cross. Then bend your elbows so the back of your hands are meeting, and then just grabbing hold of your hands. We're coming into eagle arms here. So lifting your elbows up so they're up by your face. Broadening the space between your shoulder blades. We're going to inhale here, so really lift those elbows up, and on exhale, we're just going to come into a small back bend, keeping your eagle arms. And exhale to come forward, unwinding your arms, placing your hands onto the mat, and then we're going to come into a half-seated forward fold. You're going to bring your weight all the way back, so you're sitting on your right foot here. Left toes are going to face up towards the ceiling. Inhale, and then exhale to fold over that left leg. So being really active through our feet here. Keeping that opening in your chest, not letting everything collapse in. Just taking a nice couple of breaths up and down the back of your left leg. And after your next exhale, snaking your way forward, coming into your low lunge with your hands on the ground, picking up your back foot, stepping forward into your forward fold. Inhaling to halfway lift, exhale to forward fold. Inhale, reaching your arms up to stand, then exhale, coming back into your chair pose. So if you want, you can bring your feet slightly closer together. In my body, it feels better if they're at hip distance, and keep sending the weight into your heels. Feeling those glutes firing up, your quads firing up. Then exhale to get out of it. Then bringing your peace fingers, so wrapping your fingers around your big toes. Inhale to open forward, exhale to fold in. So your elbows will come out towards the side, head's really heavy, deep bend in your legs so you can rest your torso onto your thighs. The objective here isn't to have straight legs, it's to find that opening across the top of your back. And then exhale to release. Then inhale, pushing into your feet, sweeping your arms all the way up, coming up to standing. And we're going to come into our side bends again, but we're going to take a different variation. So we're going to come into, this is called Kali Mudra. So bring your hands together. Then you're going to bring your baby ring and middle finger. We're going to come back. So as if you're making like a little Charlie's Angel gun, basically. Or very on yoga saying the word gun. So you're going to reach your hands above your head. So your biceps will be in line with your ears. We're going to inhale to reach that up really high. Then exhale, we're going to lean out towards the right hand side. So keep those biceps squeezing in towards your ears here. Focusing on grinding down with that left foot. Then inhale to center, exhale across to the left. Inhale to center. Now lifting your gaze, you're going to look up to your fingers. We're going to reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling, then curling from behind the heart, coming into your back bend. Then inhale to center, then exhale, sending your hips back and down, coming into your chair pose. Using that breath if you need it. Bringing your hands to heart center. Keeping your chest nice and open, spine nice and long, so tailbone's coming down. Then exhale, twisting out to the left, so hooking our right elbow to the outside edge of our left knee. And picking that low tummy up, so creating that space so we can twist. So imagining our rib cage is twisting around our spine. Keep making sure that right knee is tracking forward. Then exhale to forward fold. Inhaling to halfway lift. Then placing your hands on the mat, stepping that left foot back, lowering your back knee. Inhale to sweep the arms up, coming into your low lunge. So finding length from your hips all the way up to your fingertips. Creating a nice, strong, solid base with your legs here. Both hands are going to come out in front. Palms are down towards the earth. Crossing your left arm on top of your right. So where your elbows meet should be like this middle of a cross. Then bending your hands so that the back of your hands are touching. Then your left hand is going to go behind your right hand, and you're going to basically, you can catch onto that right thumb, or even that active motion of your left hand coming around to your right hand. So keeping that solid base in your legs here, sending your elbows up, so we're expanding the space behind our heart. Inhaling to lift your hands up, then exhale, just coming into your back bend. Opening through the left hip. And inhale, come back through the center, unwind your hands, frame your front foot, and then we're going to shimmy our hips all the way back. So you're walking our hands back, so we're sitting on our left foot. Right toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. Nice proud chest, keeping the spine nice and long as we fold over our right leg in an exhale. So when you think about keeping your spine nice and long, you're not collapsing in on anything. And you want to take this so you start to feel an opening in your hamstring. You shouldn't take it to a place that's really uncomfortable or takes you to a place where you're no longer with your breath. One more breath here. Then exhale. Just coming back through into that low lunge, hands on the ground, picking up your back knee. So we're in a runner's lunge now. Then bringing our back foot to meet our front foot back to meet our back foot, you know what I mean? And then coming into our plank pose. So really strong here. So pushing out to the balls of our feet, belly button to spine, pushing the ground away, wrapping those shoulders in. So biceps front of the mat, feeling that opening behind your heart. And then on an inhale, you're going to shift your weight forward. Try and keep your knees lifted. And we're going to lower for the count of 3, 2, 1. Untucking the toes, keeping your hands where they are. Rolling your chin and your chest forward, coming into cobra, pushing those feet down into the mat, broaden through the collarbones. Exhale, lowering it down. Inhale, coming up to your cobra, squeezing your elbows together. Then exhale, lowering it down. And inhale, coming up to your cobra and really pushing into your feet, and then hovering your hands. Then exhale, pushing back onto the mat, pushing onto your knees and coming into a quick child's pose. Sinking those hips back towards your feet. Just taking a couple of breaths here. And inhale, just coming into our all fours here. We're going to come into gate pose. So we're going to literally just lift our right knee directly out to the right hand side so it's in line with our hip. Then we're going to straighten that leg so toes are facing forward, then place that foot on the mat. So the direction of your fingers and the direction of your right toe should be exactly the same. Then pulling your hands back, just coming to rise up. And then we're just going to reach over that right leg. So really grounding that right foot into the mat, spiraling our heart up towards the sky. Keeping that right shoulder nice and soft. And inhale, coming through the center. And then placing your hands back in the mat, keeping that leg exactly where it is. We're going to come into thread the needle variation here. So inhale, reach that right arm up, then exhale, threading that right hand behind the left wrist, bringing your temple down towards the mat. And if the mat feels too far away, you can bring a block underneath your head. So keep sending your hips up towards the sky, grounding into that right foot. So we get a nice opening in the inner seam of our right leg. One more breath here. And inhale to unwind. Just bringing your hands down to the mat, picking up that right foot, bringing it back in so we're in all fours. Then same on the other side. So lifting that left knee directly out to the side, straighten that leg, place your left foot onto the mat, toes face forward. Then walking your hands up, stacking your hips above that knee. Then leaning over to the left hand side. So really grounding that right knee into the earth as you reach those right hands away. Then inhale, coming through the center, placing your hands onto the mat, opening the heart over to the left hand side, then weaving that left hand behind that right wrist. Just had a nice crack in my hip there as I did that. So still being active with that left leg, so really pushing that left, the baby toe edge of that left foot into the mat, sending your hips up and back. And then on your next inhale, just unraveling, coming back into your all fours. Bringing your toes together to touch and then just sinking back into a quick child's pose. And coming back up into our all fours, just picking up your right leg and just placing your right foot to the outside edge of your right hand. So your toes are going to point anywhere between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock, so you can have a nice angle here. And then if this feels okay, stay here. If you want to increase the opening in your left hip, you're just going to sneak that left foot back a little bit. Keep opening that right knee out. And then if you want, you can come down. You can stay up, on your hands, or you can bring your forearms down to a block or down to the floor. So when you bring it down, you have a tendency of everything in your right leg just collapsing. So you want to be active with the opening out to the side, but you don't want it to be completely relaxed. So it almost needs to be as a bit of a resistance. It's like your legs being pushed from both sides. So you want to keep lengthening the body here. So if you feel like your upper back is arching a lot or your chest is starting to close, maybe take it back a step. When we come into deep openers like this one, there's a tendency for us to give up basically somewhere else in the body. So we want to make sure that we're still being active in other areas. Taking one more breath here. Then if you came down to a block, just slowly bringing your hands back up through center. Staying with your hands on the mat for another couple of seconds. And then slowly bringing that right leg back into your tabletop. Then picking up your left foot, placing it to the outside edge of your left hand. Again, big toes can be anywhere between, with the actual top, 10 and 12. I was like, which one's 2 before 12? And then staying here if this is enough, or you can just walk that right leg back. You want to keep that left knee though above that left ankle. And then staying on your hands, or if you can come down with your chest nice and open, you're not collapsing in anywhere, nice long spine. Bring your forearms down to a block or a book or even down to the mat. I'm falling all over it. And as this is quite a deep stretch, just really tapping into your breath for this one. You can even make your breath quite audible, so really deep inhales and deep exhales. You know, letting go of sigh is always there for you. Active with that left leg, so as if it's being pushed from all directions, keeping it really strong. One more breath here. And then if you brought your hands down to a block, just slowly bringing them up so your hands are back on the mat. Just bringing yourself, being nice to your body to come out of this. And then bringing that left leg back to meet that right leg. And then just keeping your hips directly above your knees. We're just going to walk our hands forward into a nice melting heart pose. So forehead down to the mat or down to a block, and just turning your hands if you wish to 10 and 2. And just imagining someone's walking their hands from your hips all the way down your rack to your shoulders. Keep sending those hips up, melting those shoulders down. And slowly just pulling your hands back. Then coming to sit on your heels and just curtsying your feet over to the side so you can come sit on your bum. And then slowly making your way, just having your block handy, down onto the mat. And then sending your feet up towards the ceiling, then bringing your knees in towards your shoulders, coming into a happy baby pose, grabbing the outside edges of your feet. Keeping that tailbone down towards the mat. And if this is too much, you're welcome just grabbing behind your thighs. Just getting one more nice opening in the hips. Sending the knees away from knees away from each other and tailbone down towards the earth. Just letting the weight of your hands rest on your feet. While also allowing our body to come into a bit of an inversion, so letting anything drain out of your limbs. Just staying for 2 more breaths. Exhale, just slowly releasing your feet down towards the mat and just placing your feet on the mat. So you should be able to just about tickle the back of your ankles and just having your block handy. We're going to push into our feet, lifting our hips up, and then just bringing your block or your book just to your, I can't remember the word for it, the low back, we'll call our low back. And then just resting our hips down, just turning our palms up towards the ceiling through a nice supported bridge here. Your sacrum, that's what it's called. So letting the block take the full weight of our hips here. So we talked about melting heart as if someone was pulling your hands up your back. So imagine there's a heavy weight on your hips here, sinking them down into the block. Making sure our shoulder blades are rolled down our back, our chest is nice and open, and maybe start to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Letting our breath just return to its natural rhythm. As things really start to slow down. And you're welcome to stay in this pose if it's serving you and it's what your body is craving. Or if you'd like to come into a full Shavasana, you can come into your full Shavasana. So just pushing your feet into the ground, just lifting your hips slightly off so you can slide the block and slowly uncurling your spine vertebrae by vertebrae back down to the earth. And then just knocking our knees into the middle just to neutralise that. So feet nice and wide, knees are knocking in. Just to close off our back. And then just walking your legs so they're nice and straight. They're coming at least mat width. So your feet should be wider than your hips here so you can really feel everything open. Hands are out to the side, palms are spinning up towards the ceiling. And then just like we did at the start of class, just taking a deep inhale, holding it at the top, then releasing it all to the side. As everything sinks down. And you find your nourishing savasana at the end of your practice. Just finding some stillness and some peace for a couple of moments.